Hey, I'm back! I don't think I've reviewed a movie since PAX. So, this has been a long time coming. I finally got back to my old stomping grounds, the theater, got to see something to review it, and I watched Gone Girl with Kyle. And, of course, as luck would have it, the first movie I come back to review in a long time is a movie I can't openly talk about. So what we're gonna do is, if you have any fleeting interest in seeing this movie whatsoever, I'm gonna give you a real quick, spoiler-free rundown, and then I'm gonna put a little thing in here, and then we're gonna talk a little more in depth about the movie. So, if anything I say in the first half convinces you, stop the review and go watch it. It's honestly one of those I will not take it personally if you stop the movie. Or stop the review and go see it. But basically, Gone Girl stars Ben Affleck. Modern, everyday kind of guy whose wife just suddenly one day is missing. And because she's something of a celebrity, or her parents are something of a celebrity, it gets really big news. It goes national. And as they poke into her disappearance more and more, the circumstances become much more questionable, and it starts to look more and more like Ben Affleck's character is responsible or tied into it somehow. And so yeah, of course, it goes national, and it really, the movie overall, under anyone else's direction, this would have been just an okay movie. There is a plot twist that comes up later on, but any other movie would have just stopped right there. That would have been the whole twist, and the movie would just stop there. But what I like about David Fincher, if you've seen Seven or Fight Club or I've heard Girl with the Dragon Tattoo does this. I haven't seen that yet, but I heard that this is as well, where they all do this thing where there's a twist, and then it keeps going a little bit more. It shows you what happens after, the ramifications of it. It doesn't just stop there and let you kind of wonder about it, which I can appreciate that too, but that's a much more common thing to do. David Fincher's movies always tend to go the extra mile. So when the plot twist happens halfway in the movie, you kind of are just you're just kind of your mind is boggled as to what's going to happen next. The movie does a really good job of painting a picture of what the media, or the role that the media plays when things like this happen in real life. When people go missing, when there's a murder, when there's a rape or anything like that. It does a good job of sort of holding up a mirror to the sensationalism that the media shows up. And it's ridiculous because at a certain point in the movie, they stop. At first it's all about finding his wife, played by Rosamund Pike, who should get nominated for everything for this movie. But at one point in the movie, it stops being about the investigation, and it starts being more about how to play to the media, how to spin things, how to appear one way when you're really another. And suddenly that becomes the game plan, and you kind of just sit back and think that probably happens in real life. That's honestly these are probably the conversations that real people have when this kind of thing happens, and that's so messed up. It kind of paints a sociopath view on everybody. So it's one of the most stressful experiences I've had at the theater lately because it again, you kind of just keep thinking how far are they going to take this? When are they going to stop? But it doesn't stop. It just keeps going. So honestly, you should just see it based on kind of the message that it plays, the performances, and just seeing how brave a director this guy is. And the screenwriter too. This is based on a book, and Jillian, I forgot her last name, but the writer of the book also did the screenplay. And she has a lot to say, not just about the media, but we're gonna start getting into spoiler territory. So if you haven't, if you have any interest whatsoever to see Gone Girl, just stop this right here, because I'm just gonna flat out talk about the movie, the spoilers and stuff. You've been warned. Honestly, this could be one of the best movies of the year. It's probably going to be one of my top 3. So it's that good. And I'm the super picky guy. If you're new to this channel or anything like that, I'm a super picky guy, but I have almost no faults with the movie whatsoever. So yeah, go see it, and when we come back, we'll talk about it a little more in depth. Okay, so now you've seen the movie, or you're watching this because you don't care, which shame on you. But as it turns out, Rosamund Pike is fucking crazy. She's actually kind of worse than anyone else in the movie. She was kind of a sociopath to begin with. It's clever because these two characters seem perfect to each other and to us, and then as the movie goes along, as the two are learning the other person is not what they seem, we're kind of learning with them, and it kind of becomes like you can't trust anybody in this movie. It reminded me a lot of, the first thing that came to mind was Death Note, where you've got these two opposing, brilliant, super crazy people going at each other, playing this cat and mouse game, and you don't want either of them to win because they're both awful, but it becomes a lesser of two evils kind of thing. Who's less culpable than the other one? I mean, yeah, Ben Affleck's character definitely, like, he's a scumbag and he deserves punishment. But then when you see what the grand scheme is, you're kind of like, well, shit, like, death? Like, the death penalty? Is that really called for? That opens up a whole moral can of worms right there. And holy crap, Tyler Perry's in this movie. That threw me off, because I hate his movies. But apparently he's a good actor, because either that or David Fincher's a really good director. Which I believe, because, I mean, the characters all work really well with each other. I think my favorite characters were probably the detective. I liked her because she wasn't an idiot. She actually, she was asking all the questions that I was asking. And I liked the sister character, Margot. They were both kind of the voice of the audience in a lot of ways. They almost felt like the only sane characters in the movie. Again, going back to Death Note, it reminded me of Light's dad, how he was the only one that felt like a purely character, like genuinely a good person. Again, I'm trying to think of the girl that in the terrible news lady, whatever. It was clearly like poking fun at a real life girl who does that. Nancy something is what I want to say. Anyway, again, going back to how the media blows things up and takes advantage of situations just to get ratings, and how easily people will buy into it is really sad as well. The movie, this could be, again, because I haven't seen Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, I can't say this for sure, this might be my favorite David Fincher movie. I do really like Seven, don't get me wrong, but this one, I don't know, this one had so much more to say, it played so much more with your mind, and it went further than Seven did. Seven went places, don't get me wrong, but at a certain point, there is a very obvious right or wrong, and you know which way you should be leaning, and it's about watching the characters make that decision and seeing, if they chose right or wrong. This is so much more morally gray. it splits the audience so much more that it's a little more dynamic to see that kind of thing be pulled off well. When it's pulled off horribly, you get some of the worst movies of the year. But again, under David Fincher's direction, he did no wrong with this. So yeah, if you're watching this part, you've probably seen the movie already. You more than likely agree, because I have a hard time believing anybody could see this and not genuinely get something out of it. It's hard to say that you enjoy this movie. It really is. Because enjoyment implies some kind of happiness or excitement. There is no happiness or excitement in this movie. This is one of those things where it's kind of like with The Walking Dead or The Last of Us or something where it got a response out of you, and you admired it, but you didn't enjoy it, because it's hard to enjoy that kind of thing. It's so dour or dire and things like that. So yeah, that's Gone Girl. Holy crap. Really stressful, but really, really, really enjoyed it. I'll be back next week to talk about whatever comes out next week. I'm so behind with movies and things like that. I'm trying to get caught up on a lot of stuff. I missed a lot of movies that came out the last few weeks in general. Maybe I'll see that Walk Among the Tombstones movie or something like that, because I've heard that's really good. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Hopefully with them I can get more in depth and not dance around so many eggshells next time. So, bye!